another DorkLair collecting video. Today I'm taking a look at the Deluxe Olek Thygar Hvalkatar version from the Cosmic Legions Wave 1. So Cosmic Legions is finally here. It's been almost 2-year wait. I think September 2021 was when these were up for pre-order. So it's been quite a while, but so far, I mean, this is the only one I've opened yet, but this is a gorgeous figure. I got a loose hip on mine. That's a little bit of an issue, but otherwise, I mean, just look at all of these details on this spacesuit here. And I really thought the paintwork was going to impress me on this one, and it does. There's like no doubt that this is a beautifully painted figure. I reviewed all of the test shots, and really the sculpture, you know, obviously shines through on those because there's no paint, but you know, it all just comes together right here on this final production piece. And just kind of get a closer shot here of that alien head sculpt. I'm not sure if we know, you know, what his race is called. I forget. I don't have everything memorized, but very cool looking alien right here. Almost lizard-like qualities. And then when you get the other Olek, he's going to have that bare torso, bare arms. So that whole kind of like flesh that he has will carry through. Such a cool sculpture right there. And there's some little like shading. So you have some darker shading along sort of almost like two stripes going along his head here. Then you have that golden third eye type thing in the middle there. Those orange eyes with the black edge. And then brighten it up here for the spacesuit. And what you have is this whole neck is a different kind of neck piece. Underneath that neck piece, though, you have a normal Legion's peg. So you could peg in a Legion's neck on here, like a Mythic Legion's neck on there. And just so many little like textures and colors. It's all sort of different kind of finishes too. So you have metallic blues here, metallic blues in this kind of hatch pattern. You have a flatter grays and blacks. That orange is a bit of a flatter color. Some more grays on that piece. This piece is removable as well. I'll show you him with that piece off later in the video. And then we have the arm guards, and we have all these little ports that can attach weapons and things with these adapters that he comes with. There's a look at his hands. Wow, so nice. And then we got his skirt piece that's made of a softer type of a plastic. Even some little like metallic details here, little stormtrooper throwback maybe on the back there. Much smaller, but you know, same idea of like a little canister on the back. Some other little details on the belt in there. And then this is your typical like loincloth piece that pegs into a rectangular hole on the front of the pelvis. These legs are from Mythic Legions. These are the cloth legs that came in the Alethea wave. And down into the lower legs, these boots, they have this sort of tech that almost looks like boosters right here. And again, with the metallic blues, the matte grays, matte orange and blacks, and down on these split toe feet. He's definitely got like alien lower legs and feet here with those two toes. Some of the other characters have more human-like parts, and I'll show those in subsequent videos, but just a gorgeous looking figure. And here we have a zoomed out shot of Olek Thygar, so you can see his whole body in a rather neutral pose. He stands exactly 7 inches tall, which is pretty typical of a 1.0 Legions type figure. And here he is next to a couple Mythic Legions. On the left, we have the Gorgo from the 2-pack with the swapped out demon head from the heads pack. And on the right is Sir Owain with some Max Bird cloth goods. And I'll try as much as I can to include space themed characters. So here we have some Star Wars characters. On the left is the movie realization Mandalorian, and on the right is the Black Series Zeb Orrelios. Next, a couple Masterverse figures. Probably my favorite Masterverse figure on the left is Buzz-Off, and then on the right is the Masters of the Universe movie He-Man with a Hordak MDX custom head sculpt. Next, a couple Mezco figures. On the left is the Krig Pale Drivers, and on the right is G.I. Joe Destro. Also fitting in really well size-wise, here we have an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Chunari on the left, and the Ramen Toys Quicksilver from Silverhawks on the right. And finally, my adopted Cosmic Legions buddy, Alf, For accessories, he does come with this dome that kind of like, it sort of hooks on just beneath that little armor piece there, and then on the back over here. And then the dome, so like there's two parts. You have the suit part of the dome, and then you have the, you know, the clear part of the dome. And that has these little pegs that kind of, I don't know if you can see them right there, but there's a little peg there, and it kind of pegs in under there. And there's one on each side. There's one on the sides, the top, and the bottom. And that sort of pegs on here. And then so that you can get a look at the details on this thing. He's got some speakers in there. He's got some other little details painted in nicely. And then the back of it. And there you can see the little tabs that hook onto these little armor bits here. And then this neck piece is specific to this character. That will come off, as will the head. And then that's what it looks like underneath the neck. And then you can peg the other neck in. These necks are really tight. But let's see if I can get this in here on camera. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's in there. So here's how that neck looks. And then this has another head that matches it. That's got a removable, you know, shield here, faceplate type thing. And then this one also has some pegs that you have to kind of finagle into place here. And there we go. That's how that looks. So that's pretty cool. Like, I like how these domes and glass pieces have a little orange tint to them, adding, you know, just a little color to the mix there. And then for weapons, he does have the rifle, and then he has two of these pistols. He's got a left side and a right side, sort of sidearm type pistol. And there's not really much paint on these. I think some of the other characters may come with some like more fully painted ones. I was kind of thinking, oh, deluxe figure, maybe it would come with like a more detailed paint on the weapons, but pretty much solid gunmetal color here. All right, and then this big old weapon here, I mean, you can see the size of the thing. This thing is basically like a jackhammer on the end, but it's one of those weapons that they've designed it to be modular, and so you can swap these out. Now, this doesn't come with any extra tips, but some of the characters have sort of the same body, but with like a gun on the front or with some other kind of, you know, weapon on the front there. This piece here actually pops out, and on another character, on Vorga, there's like a, you know, like a weapons, an ammo belt that comes out of there. And this is maybe just like a, you know, a battery pack or something like that on here. But this does have some nice paintwork. We've got these orange colors. This is a darker, kind of a more reddish brick color than the rest of the figure. But some washes, little dirt and grime over here. This almost reminds me of like a motorcycle or something. But yeah, pretty cool weapon right here. And then he does have this transparent heads-up display that you can pop on right here, as if he's reading, you know, some messages or some communications or something like that. Comes with two of these little pieces that might be like little arm attachments or little arm weapons or maybe boosters of some sort. You know, you could peg them into here and have him, you know, using it as a weapon like this. Could even potentially peg it into the holes on the rifle or something, right? And have it just be another attachment to the rifle. And then he's got these 4 clear pegs. These 2 are a little bit longer, and then you have these 2 little shorter ones. And these can be used to store weapons and things on the character. So if you wanted to stick a pistol on his hip right here, you could do that. Over here, just like that. Olek comes with 3 extra sets of hands. This set is just the same hands gripping with the vertical hinges. And then he's got a pair of trigger finger hands with horizontal hinges and trigger finger hands with vertical hinges. For articulation, the head is on a ball joint and it can look up and down a little bit. You can cock it side to side and you can spin it all the way around. Arms have a hinge and swivel, just like typical Mythic Legions figures. And then you have a single jointed elbow. You have a twist at that elbow, twist at the forearm area, twist at the wrist, and you also have a hinge. Some have horizontal like this one, some have vertical. For the waist articulation, as far as going forward, there's really not a ton going forward. And I think the problem is that the, you know, this piece of the torso comes really far down in the front. This like front part is angled down, so there's not a lot of room for it to kind of crunch forward like that. And you can go back a little bit more and a little bit side to side, but like I think just this belt is really just getting in the way of any good range of articulation. And it kind of pushes the torso up and it makes the torso pop off. Well, yeah, like a little bit easier than I would normally see on a Mythic Legions figure. And you really got to like push it in to get it down in there and to get it really on there. And I think all that is because you have essentially like, let me pop it off again. You essentially have like two belts. You have this belt here that kind of, it's interesting. There's a new waist piece or new hip piece, and it's got a little ridge there, and you really got to get this right. You got to get this thing lined up on there so that it rests just right. So it's like sitting on there really well, and then get that back on there. This piece is pegged into the butt, so that's like a little armor piece on the back that pegs in. The hole is a little bit higher up than your typical boom boom hole on a Mythic Legions figure, but it's relatively the same concept. I think the hole is probably the same size too. He's got Mythic Legions legs, so he's going to have the same kind of range of motion as a Mythic Legions figure. You have hinge and swivel. He can go out into the splits. There's a twist at the top of the thigh. You can bend the knee, you can twist the knee, you can bend the ankle into a, nice wide stance rocker or hinge it back and forth, or you can even twist at the ankle. So if you've ever handled a Mythic Legions figure, you should know pretty much what to expect with the articulation. Some points, like the elbows, have a little more range than your typical Legions figure. Some, like the waist, have a little bit less. And for the sake of time and the fact that I wanted to get this video out as quickly as possible, just one quick, easy swap for you today, and that is the Monkey King head on the Olek Thygar body. All right, fine. One more swap. That is the Attila head on here. And the reason why I'm going with one more quick swap is because I was going to show you him without the shoulder piece. So this is that like backpack piece, and that pegs in as you would expect onto the back and then just sits on top of the shoulders. But yeah, I think, like obviously he's human and wouldn't have 3 fingers and 2 toes and whatnot. But I think, a couple feet swap, hand swaps, and you're going to be in business in terms of Space Marine type characters with head swaps with Mythic Legions. And I did want to point out the one issue I do have a loose hip. This happens sometimes on Legions. I've been fortunate where I haven't had this issue very often, but I know that this has happened with some. I don't think it's pegging in properly. Like, I think it came out of the mold weird. I don't think it's an issue across the line. It's just my copy has the bad hip issue. So I just wanted to point that out, that is very loose on mine. I'll have to tighten it up. I'll probably use like a little bit of some paint or something just on that peg just to get it nice and tight in there. But I did want to just point out that one little issue that I have with mine. And if you have that same issue, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear it. And because of the nature of the backpack piece, you wouldn't really be able to do Olek unless you swapped out, a Legion's neck or something, a Mythic neck or something. You wouldn't really be able to do Olek without this piece. You would definitely need to have this in there for it to look right. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.